TBATE fans? This is Chris Bolts, and I'm coming in with an episode review of this week's episode of TBATE, The Beginning After the End, Season 2, Episode 1. Now, before I do get into the content, do make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. All that stuff really helps me out. Now, let's just go ahead and cut right to the chase. You can see right here in the first opening minutes, or rather seconds of the first episode, there was a lot of animation. In fact, I'll say this one episode has more animation in this episode than the entirety of the first season of TBATE. And that is an improvement in and of itself. But the other thing that we were told about this series, the manhwa, was that it was a fascinating story that the protagonist, Arthur, who is a reborn king, and the characters, the world, the magic system, the power scaling, all that, it's going to be a very fascinating thing to experience when it is animated. And frankly, I still have yet to see anything like that. Right now, it is still just an okay animation. Again, the animation of the series, this episode, it's better than what it was definitely in the first season, but that's not saying much. That's not a very high bar to clear. I was expecting to see really good characters, really good plot development. And of course, this is the very first episode starting the second season, so things can get better. But so far, I'm just like, it's a fine episode. And seeing Arthur fight this arachnid right here, this arachnid, which is supposed to have a strong carapace, can turn anything into like a crystal, is a very strong magic resistance, weapon resistant enemy. If you remember the old enemies from Legend of Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, they had that hardened type spider enemy that had that big giant eye. And if you try to hit it anywhere else other than that big giant eye, you won't do much damage to it, even if you use magic. That's what this enemy reminded me of. But of course, our hero right here, Arthur, he ends up fighting the enemy by himself, ends up killing it. He goes back to Jasmine's mad at him. Jasmine's this character right here, his sidekick. Told him not to go fight it by himself because it's a strong enemy, one of the top 5 beasts that you need to run away from. He has doubters like this kid, which is that elf that, if you guys remember from the first season, who was messing around with him. He got smacked in the face a little bit, and he's doubting that Arthur didn't kill the guy. Bring out this head and dropped it right there to show as proof. It went to his mama, and his mama's upset that he fought this thing by himself, and both of them are apologizing to her. And Arthur all this time is just saying, hey, I really just wish I had the power to be able to go ahead and defend myself when I was younger. Dude, you were a kid. You're only about 4 or 5 years old. No one expects kids to go in there and defend themselves. But of course, we all know that he is a reborn king. And actually, during this entire fight with the arachnid, Arthur did recall some of his memories when he was a king, recalled some of his fighting prowess, and that helped him go in there and defeat this enemy. But again, there's nothing special about any of that. That's something that you see in a lot of standard isekai anime, shonen anime, fantasy anime, where the protagonist somehow discovers a hidden power and goes in there and defeats the enemy. There's nothing special about that or anything. So I'm still waiting to see where the hype for TBATE comes from. Maybe the manhwa is probably really good to read. I'm never going to read the manhwa. I'm pretty much an anime only guy. So I'm not going to be probably going in there reading that anytime soon. I'm only going to be sticking with the anime, and I'm only going to be looking at this in terms of the anime. And so far, it's just standard fare. Again, this is a much more animated feature than all of season 1 combined. Both Jasmine and Arthur are going to just be wailing their swords at each other. So this is actually a really nice scene. They're battling really hard. I look at this and I feel like it's a jiu-jitsu training role where we all say, oh, we're only going to train at 30-40%, and then all of a sudden we get off in there and suddenly we're just trying to murder each other. That's what I pick up from that scene right there, where they're just training so hard and with such intensity. That's because Arthur really wants to become stronger. But again, nothing special overall. This first episode, it's a fine comeback. More animation is absolutely good, and in fact, having that much more animation actually made this episode a little bit more enjoyable to watch. I got kind of worried that in the beginning there were some still frames that were just standing there. Like, we still have a lot of these screens where there's a lot of scrolling, either from left to right, up to down, down, up, right, left, doesn't matter. Thought we were gonna be getting a lot of that, but thankfully we got more animation than we did anything else here. So I'll give it kudos for more animation, and I'm assuming that it's going to continue into the next episodes. Pretty sure that the director and the animators of this feature said, you know what, we're going to listen to the concerns of the audience and try to make it a little bit more animated. Hopefully the manwaka, I guess, came in and said, hey, we need to step the game up a little bit with the animation. So overall, this episode, I would give it about a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 for TBATE. Definitely going to be sticking with it for the remainder of the season. That I did review all the episodes of season 1, and I'm going to be doing the same thing for season 2. So be on the lookout for those going forward. What did you guys think about this episode? Did you guys end up watching it? Do you guys even care about TBATE at all? Whatever your thoughts, jump down in the comments and let me know what you guys think, and make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. All that stuff really does help me out. And remember, this is Chris Bolts signing off, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take it easy.